Betelgeuse, 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 Betelgeuse. I want to go to war! Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Solar Systems, where we help you understand the system your soul goes into. This is Moon Days with Michael. I'm your host, the Royal Archangel Michael, and I am cutting out the esoteric middleman and giving you the tools you need to connect yourself right to the source. Now, as you might have been able to tell from the intro of this video, where I said Betelgeuse this amount of times and screamed I want to go to war, we're talking about the fixed star Betelgeuse, the right shoulder of the Orion constellation, and it is the second star we're talking about in this series, where we're breaking down all the stars inside of the Orion constellation so you understand their influences and their roles in astrology. Boom sign. All right, so Betelgeuse. Now, if you remember where we talked about Bellatrix in the first episode, Betelgeuse is the right shoulder, not the left shoulder, where Bellatrix is the left shoulder, Betelgeuse is the right shoulder. So today we're talking about the right shoulder right here of an Orion constellation called Betelgeuse. Now let's start off with all the physical characteristics of Betelgeuse, find out where it's placed in your chart, how big its orb is, and if it's going to go boom. So Betelgeuse can be found in 29 degrees of Gemini of this time. At this time, of this time, one of those words works. Now, I gotta calm down. No, stay hyper. It also has an orb of 240, 2 degrees, 40 minutes, which is a little bit bigger than, you know, most fixed stars have. Usually most fixed stars are around an orb of 2, but Betelgeuse has a bigger orb because it's Betelgeuse and it does what it wants. You think Betelgeuse, like, is there like a juice called Betelgeuse? I don't know. Now, Betelgeuse kind of seems like a weird name because it is a French interpretation of an Arabic name. Betelgeuse typically translates into the giant or the great one, and it is the second brightest star inside of the Orion constellation, just being a little behind Rigel. But we don't like to talk about Rigel because of what Rigel did to Procyon. Check it out over here, over there. I don't remember where it is. It is also called Alpha Orion. Even though it is the second brightest star, it still has the prefix of Alpha because it's Betelgeuse and it does what it wants. I'm going to say that again. All right, so let's start by talking about Betelgeuse's energetic influence and how you can interpret what it needs to have this inside of your chart. Or you don't. That's okay too. You're still going to learn about it. It's very similar to Bellatrix in its nature, where it has to do a lot with war and carnage and violence, but it also carries a more positive attribute to it, where it can actually be very civilized and it has a lot of kingly attributes attached to it, where Bellatrix is mostly more violent in its nature. Just like Bellatrix, Betelgeuse has a Mars and Mercurial influence. However, when you think of this, think of like a war general, where their motivations are the same, where it's like, we're gonna go to war, we're gonna win, and this is how we're gonna do it. But they're very well spoken about it. They have everything, it seems like they have everything put together for you. So Betelgeuse kind of carries that calm, collected, but strong energy to it. And it's not as violent and dangerous as Bellatrix. It's easier to control the more aggressive side of Betelgeuse and let those kingly attributes take over, rather than in Bellatrix, where the more violent natures kind of takes over if you are not careful and don't have that energy sort of balanced out with another strong placement. And this is why Betelgeuse is the right shoulder holding the sword of Orion, because its energy is calm, collective, and assertive and aggressive. Even though it can bring war and carnage, the way it goes about it is very collected, meticulous, planned out, and thoughtful, where it doesn't try to leave, you know, just a trail of destruction behind itself, where Bellatrix kind of would. Betelgeuse is more controlled in its destruction. So yeah, I mean, as far as influence goes, that's pretty much it for Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse? Because it is very similar to Bellatrix. Betelgeuse is more likely to bring you fortune rather than destruction, but Bellatrix is more likely to bring you destruction rather than fortune. This all depends on where it's placed in your chart, what planets aspect it, what house it's in, how you carry the energy, how aware you are that energy. But Betelgeuse tends to be very favorable when placed in someone's chart. So now that we have actually talked about the energetic influence of Betelgeuse, let's address the giant elephant in the room that may explode in the next couple years. Betelgeuse going supernova. So, in the past 15 years, Betelgeuse has lost 15% of its brightness. And this has led people to believe that Betelgeuse is going to go supernova soon. Now, what does this mean? Okay, and what does this mean for the Orion constellation? Because if this constellation was made by the Archangel Michael, and one of the stars is going to explode and the being inside of that star is going to die, then what does that mean for the constellation, and what does that mean for the Archangel Michael? Well, not much. Why do I say not much? Because this is more of an important thing for Betelgeuse rather than it is for the Orion constellation, but the energy shift will be felt. As we all know, the Orion constellation has to do with warlike energies and influences, and when Betelgeuse goes supernova and the being inside of Betelgeuse transforms into a different vessel, and Betelgeuse is just a shell of a dead being, we have to understand that the energy shift inside of the Orion constellation is going to shift more over into the Bellatrix side of things, which is going to typically be more violent and destructive. And what does that mean for Archangel Michael incarnating into Earth? Well, once Betelgeuse goes supernova, if Archangel Michael still has to come down to Earth to help y'all, he's not going to be very happy about it, and his influence might change from me sitting here very calm, collected, even though I'm a little hyper, to be very aggressive and violent. So, yeah, by the time Betelgeuse goes supernova, we better have our shit together down here, because let's be real, I don't want to come back here again. I will if I have to, but I'm not going to be happy about it the second time. Although this is not my second time. This is like 1,000th, 100th? I don't even know. I lost count after 10, but I can only really count to 10 anyway, so. But what does this mean for Betelgeuse, actually? Well, Betelgeuse, when it goes supernova, it's going to be shedding its vessel. And in this case, its vessel is a red supergiant star. And when this happens and it goes supernova, it will be leaving that vessel, aka shedding its vessel, similar to how you leave your vessel when your body dies, and transforming into a different, higher vessel. And if you know anything that happens after you are a star, which I guess is a good time to make the dimensional videos. Booyah. You transition into a solar system. So Betelgeuse is moving up and Orion is getting more aggressive. That's pretty much Betelgeuse's supernova summed up for you. It will be really cool to see though, because it'll be like having a second full moon in the sky, and I think that's going to be sick if I'm alive when it happens. I may or may not know the answer to that. Can I say that? So, yeah, I mean, that's Betelgeuse for you. War, carnage, aggression, assertive, but very fortunate, and has a lot of kingly attributes. Very collected, very thought out, and very honorable. It has a Mars and Mercury type influence, like a very calm, cool, collected, very well-respected war general, and has an orb of 2 degrees, 40 minutes, and is located 29 degrees of Gemini. That's Betelgeuse, the right shoulder of Orion. Now, if you guys would like to see whether or not you guys have Betelgeuse in your chart, we'd be more than happy to help you guys out. Just shoot us an email at readings@solarsystems.org. We also do, your sun, moon, ascendant breakdown, full-on natal chart readings, fixed star readings, or honestly any type of reading you kind of can think of. Tarot cards reading mixed in with a astrological reading, because we roll like that. We incorporate everything, incorporate everything at solar systems, because the system your soul goes into is very large, and you must understand all of it by the time I am dead. So next time we're going to be talking about the Orion constellation. We'll be talking about Saiph, I don't know how to say it. The text is right there. The right ankle of the Orion constellation. So stay tuned for that. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all that. Again, email us, readings@solarsystems.org. And also, go and follow us over on our Instagram, where we post every day about the astrological influences of that day. And until next time, fly high, y'all.